What's up everybody, welcome back to Simply a Breeze. My name is Bree if you're new here, and today I'm going to take you along with me as we make up some chicken quarters. And the topic of this night, or the purpose of this discussion, and why I'm taking you along with me, is because we're going to talk about cooking chicken. Chicken was one of those things that I was scared to cook because if you undercook it, you run the risk of getting salmonella and making yourself sick. But it is also so easy to overcook your chicken because you are trying to make sure it is completely done and cooked through. And I've eaten a lot of dry chicken, and I have finally started to figure out how to make sure that we are eating nice, and you're not gonna like this word, moist chicken, because dry chicken's disgusting and it just doesn't taste very good and it's not very pleasant to eat. We like our chicken to have a little bit of moisture to it while still being fully cooked. So one of the things that I've learned along the way to make sure that I am getting good cooked through chicken that is not dried out is low and slow. And it took a lot of burnt chicken, overcooked chicken, and some raw chicken to figure out how to do this. And so it's a little bit of trial and error. Chicken quarters are on the thicker side because it still has the chicken thigh and the chicken leg, which is often referred to as the drumstick. It's all connected into one piece. I took the entire lower half of the chicken off. The whole leg came with it, so it's considered a chicken quarter. And so we've got two here, and tonight I'm going to go ahead and cook them on the grill. One of the other things that I have learned along the way is to use a thermometer. Get yourself a meat thermometer if you don't already have one. If you're really struggling trying to make sure that your chicken is cooked all the way through, your pork is cooked all the way through, get a meat thermometer. So let me show you the two that I have. This is the one I've been working with for a while now, and it's just a normal dial thermometer. And so it'll tell me where the pressure, or not the pressure, where the temperature is at after I insert the probe into the meat. The cool thing about this thermometer when I bought it was the casing that hides the probe. On here it lists what the safe cooking temperature for things are. So that's been a really, really helpful resource for us when we're cooking chicken. And so up until a few days ago, this was what I used for making sure our meat was fully cooked. Recently, we were at a store, and this was like in the impulse section as you're waiting in line. We got a digital thermometer for cooking meats. And so I'm really excited because now the number is going to read. It'll read a number. I don't know if it's me. So whatever this probe is reading, the number will display, and so it'll be all set to go. So I'm gonna give this bad boy a try today. Chicken needs to be cooked to 165. And that's non-negotiable, which is 74 degrees Celsius for those who do not go by Fahrenheit and you go by Celsius. That would be 74 degrees Celsius. But you need the chicken to be at least 165. That ensures the chicken is cooked all the way through, any bacteria is killed, and your chance of getting salmonella drastically decreases. So today we are going to be grilling our chicken quarters. I have found that we really do enjoy having grilled chicken quarters, and the way I'm going to show you how we do it, I'm going to put the chicken actually on the top rack of our grill, not the lower rack. Our grill, it's really old. Eventually we're going to need to upgrade. Things are falling apart on it, and even if we have it on the low setting, if we have things on the bottom rack, it's really prone to catching fire, just the way that the grill is falling apart. So we always cook things on the top rack, unless we're trying to just get a nice good browning, almost char on whatever we're cooking. We need to make sure we turn our propane tank on, and then we're we're gonna turn the grill on high so that way we can char any of the bits that's on the grates. We're gonna close the lid, we're gonna go season our chicken, and when we come back and we're done seasoning our chicken, we'll bring the chicken out, we'll scrape the grates so they're nice and clean, and we'll get the chicken on. So let's go ahead and get this chicken seasoned up and get, ooh, I don't know if we're gonna have rice or if we're gonna have pasta. While I'm seasoning the chicken, I'll figure out what else we're gonna have with this. Okay, so I put my chicken in a food saver bag. An alternative to seasoning your chicken is, I also like to go ahead and make marinated meats. As I'm putting them into their food saver bags, I go ahead and make the marinade, and then I seal the bags up and I chuck them in the freezer. That way, if I do want a marinated meat, I don't have to thaw the meat, make the marinade, put the meat in the marinade, let it marinate. It's a whole lot of extra steps. Whereas if I'm already packaging up the chicken, I make the marinade in the package. I put the chicken in the freezer. I pull the chicken out of the freezer whenever I feel like it. And as the chicken thaws, it also marinates at the same time. And when we're ready to cook it, it's already gone through the marinating process and it's ready to go whenever I want. So if you are somebody who likes marinated meats, I highly recommend that method. Just make the marinade, throw the meat in the freezer, and then whenever it's ready, you're ready to go. We still got the skin on this chicken. I'm gonna pull up this. It looks like these chicken quarters came from two different chickens because one of these chicken quarters is huge and one is rather small. I usually cut up whole chickens. It's cheaper per pound to buy a whole chicken and then cut the chicken up into its parts. Next, I like to just use this. My husband and I both really enjoy this seasoning. It's just a roasted garlic. It's got good flavor. Sometimes we like a good Southwest, but this is the flavor of choice for us today. And all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sprinkle the seasoning. And I grabbed salt, but I realized that there's already salt in this seasoning. But if you're using a seasoning that's not already pre-salted, you may want to consider adding salt. I'm gonna go ahead and flip these so I can get the other side, and then we're gonna go turn on the grill. Okay, so we have our chicken nice and seasoned, and so it's ready to go on the grill. Before we take the chicken outside to get it on the grill, we need to figure out what starch. Sorry, there's a hair on me somewhere. We need to figure out which starch we're gonna have for dinner. So I think we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna have rice. It's easy. I can put it in the rice cooker and it can cook while we've got the chicken cooking. And then we'll probably just have a frozen veggie and it'll probably be green beans. So we're gonna grab our rice cooker. We're gonna open it up. We're probably gonna put about a half a cup of rice in here, fill it some water, get it going. Our rice is ready to go. Let's go put our chicken on the grill. All right. I'm going to start out by putting the chicken skin side down. We're gonna get it cooking. We'll probably let it go for about 10 minutes and then we'll come out, we'll check and see how the underside is doing, and then we'll flip it and we'll let it go for at least another 10 minutes, and then we'll get the temperature or the thermometer out, and then we'll start assessing from there. But the chicken is probably gonna take a minimum of 20 minutes to cook. I've also gone ahead and I've turned the grill down to a much lower temperature. That way the chicken has time to cook through without me burning the outside of the chicken. So I'll come back when it's time to cook it, to look at the chicken and either flip it or let it go, but I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. I like to check on my chicken periodically to make sure it's not burning. I have a headlamp so I can make sure you can see the color on the chicken so you can see what it is that I'm seeing as well. So I'm gonna try not to blind you. So we wanna make sure the chicken's getting some color. So I can't even lift it up right now. There it is. So it's getting a little bit of color. It is really not where we want it to be, which is fine. It's only been about 5 minutes. So we're gonna close the lid. We'll be back in another like 5 to 10 minutes to see how it's going. Okay, so there's a little bit more activity going on in the grill. I don't know if you can hear it, but there's like drippings and splashings. So we're gonna take a look and see what it's looking like. Definitely getting some color on this piece right here. Oh, we're definitely getting color on this chicken. So maybe we're gonna go ahead and flip her. Okay, so we're a little over, I don't know if you can tell, but we're just a little charred over here. But this guy is looking, I would like this guy to be just a little bit more dark. So we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna flip sides. We're just gonna move that over here. There we go. And we'll drop this just a little bit lower. This is not overcooked. That's actually gonna be really, really great flavor. I do like that on our chicken. I would like this to actually get a little bit darker. But that guy is also smaller, so it's not going to take as long to cook as that piece is. And we'll close this back up and we'll be back in about 5 more minutes. Okay, the chicken smells fabulous. There we go. That's the color we're really looking for on this chicken. But what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and, for comparison, for education, purposes, we are going to compare the 2 thermometers to make sure. This one I know is calibrated. We're just going to make sure this one is on par. So we're going to turn it on. It is on Fahrenheit. And we're going to stick this into the thickest part of the chicken. We're going to try not to hit a bone. And this is very, very hot. So I'm going to try not to burn myself. Ooh. Now I'm curious. Is that cooked? That's better. Okay, so both chickens are reading at about 150 degrees. So they definitely have a little longer to go, but I can't imagine it's going to take them too terribly much longer, and they're looking really, really good. So it's been a couple more minutes. We're gonna check on the chicken. I think it's right about there. One thing about chicken, once you know it's getting close, is you really don't want to leave it unattended because it can go from being perfect to overdone really, really quick once it jumps that barrier, okay? So once it starts getting close to the 165 mark, you want to keep an eye on it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get the digital thermometer out. We're going to stick it in a thick part of the meat. This guy's reading it at about 130, but it's reading at about 145 there. Let's check this guy. This is really hot. So parts of the chicken is reading 160, but not all of it. And you don't want to be touching the bone because the bone conducts heat. But that spot, okay. So that piece is done. So I'm going to turn off this far burner. And I'm actually going to move this piece of chicken off to the side. So it's going to stay warm, but we're going to almost halt the cooking process. And we're going to turn the burner up on these two just a little bit so we can get this guy completely cooked through, and we can have both chickens for dinner tonight. We'll just maneuver it over. Once the chicken is ready to come off the grill, I have a plate and I've got my microwave splatter dish here. That way we can keep all of the heat in and the chicken can just rest. Okay, let me flip this guy over, and just to make sure, let's see. Yep, we are at 165 on both sides of this chicken. I knew that that one was done. So now we turn off all of our burners. To our plate. And you always want to double check that your burners are off, as well as the propane tank. And I always do a double check before I walk away. So our rice is done, our veggie is done, our chicken, both of them, is at 165. We're gonna get the thermometer washed. We're gonna get that other one calibrated. Look, they're beautiful. Look at our beautifully cooked chicken. This is all flavor. It's amazing, amazing flavor. So let's get this plated up and I will show you what our final plates look like. And that's all there is to it. Chicken isn't hard. It just requires a little bit of attention, and it really helped me keep from overcooking my chicken once I got a thermometer. We stopped eating dry chicken once I got a thermometer to make sure the chicken was cooked, but not overcooked. So I highly recommend, if you're going to invest in some kitchen appliances, a thermometer is something that you need. So hopefully this was helpful, hopefully this was educational, and you now have the confidence to go forward and cook some chicken that isn't undercooked, but also isn't overcooked. And I will see you the next time we're either in the kitchen or working on something on the car or learning something new. So I'll catch you guys next time. Have a good day. Bye.